Well, tomorrow is the first of the month, and if you are one of the nearly 1 million people across Arizona who don't own your home, that means your rent is due. And this time around, coming up with a rent check might be a lot more difficult if you are affected by job loss or by the coronavirus. Our chief investigative reporter, Morgan Lowe, is looking at how Governor Ducey's recent executive order on evictions might help you out. Morgan.
Yeah, Heather, the governor signed that order last week, and it does give some leeway to some renters. But it's not an excuse to stop paying your rent, and people are still getting evicted across the state. Lenny McCluskey has been a constable for 15 years. Today, he's checking on the status of an eviction.
Can you make copies of that and send it to the office?
Yes, sir.
This renter was ordered by his boss to stay home for 2 weeks to self-quarantine. Now he's a month behind on his rent.
I was in midweek of my pay period, so I was still able to follow up and get a full paycheck. Just now it's just kind of like lost for words. I don't know what's next.
Under normal circumstances, a constable would evict him. But these are not normal times.
Yeah, you got to have some compassion. Got to be able to work with both sides.
Under Governor Doug Ducey's executive order on evictions, constables do have some new leeway if the renter suffers from COVID-19 or a job loss related to it. But that's not a free ticket to avoid paying rent.
They still owe the money. At some point in time, they may still have to leave. But this way, public safety comes first. Public health comes before everything else.
Michael Branham is the county's presiding constable.
Let's get her to understand what she's got to do to fit the provision.
He says constables will now delay an eviction, but tenants need to communicate with their landlords and get them documentation that shows there's a problem.
And you got to remember, we're not just helping the tenants. We have to help the landlords too, because they're at a loss of income just like the tenant is.
But the new rules will help some people, like the man you met in the beginning of this story, who couldn't work because he had to self-quarantine at home.
Yes, I just got notice today that I was going back, and really happy that I am going back.
So this postponement of evictions kicks in when you or a family member are affected by COVID-19, or you have a job loss or loss of income that is the result of COVID-19, and that could include layoffs or furloughs. But here, this is the important point. You have to notify your landlord. You have to provide them with documentation that talks about your hardship. Heather?
So many people need all the help they can get right now. Morgan, thank you very much.